All right, hey everybody. Welcome back to B3 Party C. This is gonna be season six, so it's my first episode, season six. But this was more on my own, and I have a special guest here, Jesus Muñiz.
Hello,
Um,
everybody.
yeah, it's a really special guest that I I feel like he's special because he's always been part of my life in a way, right? I think we went to the same middle school. We also went to like the same church. I think we did our I forgot what we did, our confirmation together or something like that.
Yeah, I
But
want to say it was confirmation.
yeah, but we always been like close somehow, like even proximity close, in the same what's the barrio.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was nervous coming up to this interview because I'm like, I gotta take this seriously. I gotta ask some real questions.
Nervous, bro. You're the one that's going to be asking the questions. I gotta be the one
For
to answer them.
real. No, but I'm really glad that you said yes to getting on, and it's really I'm really thankful. You have like a bunch of followers, so hopefully they
No, hombre.
hopefully they see me.
Son puros primos familiares.
Damn, that's a lot of primos.
Yeah.
Uh, but yeah, so I met Jesus a while back. We just been like, I guess, growing in a way, just getting families and all that and everything. So, my first question here that I have for you is, um, when did you decide that you wanted to be in the entrepreneurial like world?
So first off, I didn't get to thank you for having me here, but
Oh
I do want to
yeah,
thank you so much
yeah.
for, giving me the opportunity to, I guess, be in a podcast because this is my first type of, I guess, space that I've ever been in, right?
Yeah.
But I decided that I wanted to be an entrepreneur. Honestly, I kind of always wanted to be an entrepreneur. I remember growing up, I wanted to be a chef. I wanted to have my own restaurant. I didn't go to culinary school or anything like that as I was older, so the chef part kind of, just went away. But I always wanted to be my own boss. I don't mind following orders, but sometimes you get to a point where it's like, okay, you're working so hard for somebody else when you could be working so hard, for yourself and maybe build something out of nothing. And I feel like that's, so rewarding. Um, and I don't know, I feel like I always wanted to, be an entrepreneur, a boss, not necessarily for the title or anything like that, but just, because I know that I work hard, and if I work hard for myself, maybe I can build something, an empire for, my children or
Yeah,
others to come.
I love that. That really puts in the like high risk, high reward, right? For
Yeah,
yourself.
yeah, definitely.
I did have a question about how did you come up with the Muñiz financial what is it?
Muñiz Financial
Financial
Solutions.
solutions? Yeah.
Yeah. So that's my credit repair business. I don't know. I don't know honestly what I was thinking when I came up with that name as my business name, because that's what it's registered as. I just really wanted to. So my grandpa, I was really close to my grandpa. He passed away in 2015,
Hmm.
and I feel like I just wanted to make him proud in a way,
Yeah.
in having that last name, or making something for that last name. Um, so I decided to go with that. And that's, pretty much it. I couldn't think of any other name but that.
Just a little bit about the Muñiz financial solutions. So it's a you said a credit repair business, and you use Instagram, right?
Yeah. So we have an Instagram and Facebook account where we do most of our marketing. Obviously, the best marketing is word of mouth. So any past clients that have referred others into our program, we're definitely thankful for them. And, our leads that come in and ask questions, because I don't mind, answering questions. Now, obviously, I can only answer so much based off of, what's being asked. We do offer free consultations, And it is a lengthy process. It's not something overnight. So, you have to have patience.
Yeah.
And it's something that, I even find myself sometimes that I don't have any patience at all, especially now that I'm a father, and we can get
Yeah.
into that in a little bit. But about the business, yeah, I mean, we help people who don't have, their credit where it needs to be. We help them get there. Um, we have helped people, get into a house or, buy their dream car. Because
Yeah.
honestly, who wants to pay interest, when you can either pay a lower interest or pay no interest at all, depending on the situation. But yeah.
And one question about that, like, you, how did you learn about all that stuff? Because I know,
Yeah, so I took a class from one of my friends that I went to school with. I actually
oh,
went to, I want to say Brown and high school, so middle school and high school. But
okay.
for sure, we went to high school together. And then I just, saw how she built her company from the ground up, and she's very successful. DR Blocker,
Okay,
Detailed
yeah,
Credit Solutions, I believe. So she taught a class, I want to say it was summer of 2021. And this is when I was, working for insurance, and I had been there for a minute. And I was like, you know what? Let me try and build something out of nothing. Let me go into the credit repair industry. And so I did. I took her class. I learned a lot. And it's like, you're always learning. So it's not just the fact that I took that class and that's all I learned. That's all I'm, I guess, utilizing for my company. I'm always joining groups on Facebook. There's a lot of information, from credible sources, because there's also a lot of information from just people that are out there
yeah.
to, you know, put information on their internet and charge you a buck for it or whatever. But
Yeah.
you have to do your, I guess, research on who to trust and who to, I guess, network with. That's going to help you be successful. So yeah, I took that class and then, also studied some laws um, with regards to credit repair.
Yeah, I think that's crazy because, like you said, you took a course, but it doesn't, like, what is this? How do I say? It's like, it doesn't end with just taking a course, right? You have to, like, learn how to start your business, learn how to, make it happen, sort
Yeah,
of thing.
yeah, and I feel like that's something that I'm still learning on how to, manage a business, because there's, the part of for the credit repair, but then there's also like the managing part of the business, the expenses, the accounting and all that. It's a lot, honestly. And that's why I feel like a lot of people don't want to be business owners, because it's a lot to, handle. It's a lot to deal with. And it's definitely not for the weak. Not saying that, oh, I got it down or whatever,
Yeah.
because I still struggle sometimes. And I wish I had the funds to like outsource certain things. But I feel like um, trying to do it all helps you to know exactly how to run a business. And then once you know it's rolling and you have the funds, you can outsource so you can kind of get some time back and, focus on something else.
Yeah, I mean, I like how you said, like, you don't want to sound like you can handle it and be cocky, but I feel like you should pat yourself in the back because you started Muñiz Financial Solutions around 2021, right? December, and
Yeah, we were gonna launch in December, but I
uh,
was getting married that December, so I was so busy with that. We ended up launching in January of 22.
oh, okay,
Yeah,
man, I
yeah.
didn't do my research there. I'm like, I'm gonna impress them with me knowing that.
Well, I mean, technically you're right, because yeah, I was gonna launch, I want to say December 14th, but then we were getting married a week after, and that
Shoot.
last week, we were super busy.
Yeah, but like, I also say, like, you should pat yourself in the back because 2 years later, right? You decide to launch Events by Max,
Yeah,
which
yeah.
how has that been managing both businesses?
It's crazy because I feel like Events by Max has kicked off a lot faster. Obviously, it's a total different industry than credit repair, but and it's it's funny in a way, but I don't want to sound, I guess like um, mean, or I don't want to talk down on anybody who's, needing credit repair who are my clients right now. But
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of people, focus more on the partying than on getting their financial situation straight, which,
Yeah.
no shame, because this was me, back in the day. I
Yeah.
didn't care. I didn't even know what credit was, honestly. I didn't have a credit card until maybe like um, December of 2019, I want to say. And I learned, what you could do with a credit card and how you can avoid paying interest, because a lot
Yeah.
of this is how credit card companies make their money by, they'll tell you, oh, all you need to do is make a minimum payment of $30 a month. But if you rack up 500 bucks and you're only paying $30 a month, they're going to be, adding the interest every month and whatnot. So it's like compounding,
Yeah.
and you're never going to end up paying the $500 if you only make the minimum payment. And it gets even worse, if you owe more or whatever. But yeah, it's kicked off a lot faster, or a lot more than the credit repair business. And I appreciate our clients, our customers, past customers, and current customers.
Yeah. I get what you mean because I got my credit card when I was like getting out of high school, I think. But
Hmm.
right now I'm sitting on like 800, no, 780 or something. But
Credit score?
also, yeah, I also have a big
Nice.
credit balance though, so that's not too. I
So,
mean, I think I'm under 10%, but
mhm.
yeah,
Well, I mean, and that's something that not a lot of people know, because a lot of the time they come to us expecting that we can get them to like 800 so they can buy
yeah,
a house or a car at, a low rate. But
yeah,
honestly, us as a consumer, or you as a consumer, can control a huge portion of, your credit score, because our job at Muñiz Financial Solutions is to clean up your report, like all the negative accounts, which are collections, charge-offs, or any, late payments, anything of that nature. And it's your job to build positive credit, which is lowering those balances, because that will definitely help your situation and avoiding getting any new collections, any late payments, or anything like
yeah,
that. So, I mean, you're sitting at a good score, 780, and if you know that you have, a balance, as long as you're working on shaving it down eventually, um, I would say you're, in a good place. Yeah.
yeah. That's pretty crazy because I mean, I know some people that could work on that, but I always think like, man, should I send them to Jesus or I don't know, like I don't know if they even like care about it,
Yeah.
but
And a lot of it, it's not that they don't care, it's they don't know. Um,
yeah,
and that's also why I kind of wanted to get into that space, the credit repair space, because our Latino, culture isn't too familiar with credit, or isn't familiar with what credit can do for them. They just know
yeah,
that, you need it to buy a house, like our parents, for example. My parents, they knew that they needed credit to buy a house. They didn't know exactly, what the credit score that was needed, or what have you, or maybe they did. I don't know. I've never asked them, but
yeah,
um, you know, it's a lot of information out there, and we, as the next generation, have a lot of access to this information. So I feel like we need to take, advantage of it, and maybe help out our older folks.
yeah. For those who are listening and whoever watches this later, this is his logo, just so you recognize it when you see it on the socials. It's pretty cool. Did you come up with this yourself?
Yeah, I actually use Canva for it. I've actually used Canva for everything.
I love Canva. That's what I use to for everything.
Yeah,
This is I couldn't get a better logo. I was gonna ask you for it, but this is from Instagram. So Vince by Max.
Events by Max, yes, sir.
I like how you made this one too. I don't know how people
Yeah,
come up with
I think I
logos.
had like four different logos for Events by Max, and I told my wife, I was like, which one do you like best? So here's the thing, we didn't know what and I'm probably jumping the gun here, but
You're fine.
since we're on the topic, we didn't know what our baby was going to be as far as gender-wise.
Yeah.
So I didn't know what the business name would be until the baby was going to be born. And so once Max was born, I was like, okay, we're going with Events by Max. And I actually launched that company a month after he was born.
Oh yeah, September,
Yeah,
and he was born in August,
September.
right?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. Like I can feel how nerve wracking that might have been because whenever I was starting the podcast, I was like, I can't do anything until I know the name. So I feel
Yeah.
like that was you as well. You couldn't
Yeah.
even put the handle. You couldn't make the socials yet because you needed to know
Mm-mm.
events by
Yeah.
Max.
Yep.
That's pretty cool. I didn't know that was something that you were waiting for.
Yeah. Yeah. That was, I mean, it was a good maybe like 2 months that I was working on, everything for the company. And then once he was born, I was okay. So now we got the name and everything else. We can kind of fill in the host and, actually launch the company.
Yeah. So I mean, since you brought up your baby, how do you handle like being a father and doing all these things as well at the same time?
That's a very good question because I knew this question would come up and I was trying to, come up with an answer, but there's really no perfect answer because, I mean, I just do it, I guess. I'm not saying that I'm the perfect father or the perfect, entrepreneur, but I'm just, day by day, I learn a lot.
Yeah.
Uh, and you learn a lot about yourself, once you have kids. Like, I knew I didn't have much patience, but I honestly feel like I have no patience at all.
Oh my god.
And my son has, definitely showed me that because sometimes, like, it's not necessarily that I don't want to take care of him or anything like that. It's more so like, how can I help him? Like he doesn't talk, so he can't tell me what he needs.
Yeah.
And I try, one thing and he's still kind of fussy or whatever the case is. So it's more like I just don't have patience sometimes. And, that's one thing that has stood out for me as a father, for sure.
Yeah, I feel like that's one of the requirements. You gotta have patience,
Yeah.
cause
And it's crazy because I've always um, I've always kind of like struggled with my patience and I've asked God to like, please give me patience. And I guess that's why he's giving me kids so I can, have patience.
like you need it now.
Yeah, here you go.
Does your wife also work, or does she help you out
Yeah,
with the?
yeah. So we both.
Oh,
So right now, I'm on parental leave. I'm actually on my last week of parental leave.
okay.
But so I've been kind of, doing most during the day and stuff like that. Once she gets off of work, she'll help out. She works from home majority of the time. There are occasions where she goes into the office. I think it's like 2 days out of the week, either Tuesdays and Thursdays. Sometimes just, either Tuesday or Thursday. But she's an accountant, so her job
Oh,
is very, time consuming, time demanding, I
yeah,
guess. So I try to help out, where I can because once she's off of work, she'll be tired. And we're expecting baby number two, so that's, taking a toll on her too.
oh.
So
Yeah, I was gonna ease into that one. I think wait, I see it somewhere. I saw it on your socials or something, right? You mentioned it.
yeah, so
Okay.
we actually never got around to announcing it. Not that we were hiding the pregnancy or anything like that. It's just the fact that, we get too busy, I guess,
Yeah.
with Max, and we're trying to focus on spending time with him as well. I haven't been super active on YouTube or my socials as much as I was before, I guess.
Yeah.
But it's not, because of anything bad or anything like that. I try to spend time with, my family. I'm sure you understand
Yeah.
that, every minute counts, every second counts. So, yeah, we just pretty much announced, I guess, in a way, this past weekend when we posted some of his pictures of his baptism
Oh
little
yeah, yeah, the
party.
baptism.
Yeah, so it's crazy. Yeah, we're gonna have two under two here in the next 4 months. So he'll be one on August 13th, and our due date is August 30th for baby number two.
Dang, you're wasting no time.
No time. You know what our doctor told us, or my wife's OBGYN was like, see, this is what happens when both of you guys work from home. Y'all have too much time to yourselves.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's congratulations on that.
Thank
I
you.
don't I
Thank
don't
you.
want to say be scared, but you're gonna need some patience for sure.
Yeah, no, so we have church brothers, and one of my church brothers was like, man, once the next one comes, be ready. And I'm like, don't tell me that, bro. He's like, no, see, en serio. Because, the older one's gonna fuss or cry and is gonna wake up
Yeah,
the younger one and stuff, so, but I know it's gonna be tough, but, con Dios todo se puede, so I'll be
no,
all
yeah,
right.
yeah. Maybe it's possible. You just gotta like hold like breathe sometimes because I was gonna don't get scared of this, but there's been some nights where like my baby like 3 months. Oh, he's gonna be 2 months, I think. Yeah, 2 months. He's gonna
Hmm.
be 2 months, and he will cry, and then the 2-year-old would cry, and like you just like hear them both crying, and it's just like a little symphony of
Yeah,
crying, and
you
I feel
almost want to
bad.
cry with them.
I don't know if
Yeah.
you ever seen American Horror Story, but I feel bad for saying this, but I made this joke with my wife. But
Hmm.
you know what? Have you seen the Psych Ward episodes where?
So I started watching it, but I never finished it,
Oh,
and I don't think I got to that scene or those episodes.
yeah, it's like a whole season about the psych ward, and there's this song that plays like Dominica Nika Nika, and like I always make fun of it because it's like basically they're psych, there's something's wrong with them mentally, but I felt
Yeah,
bad. I'm like that song popped into my head when both of them were crying at the
they're
same
crying.
time.
Yeah.
but but I mean, definitely. I mean, don't get scared of it. Like the only reason I wanted to ask you how do you balance it is because to me, like that's a whole nother job. Like I have my job right, and I work from home, but
Hmm.
then the podcast like has taken a lot of my time as well, and I'm like, oh, here trying to manage that, and also trying not to waste too much time on the podcast because I have to be a dad. So I was
Yeah.
like, I'm gonna ask him how does he handle that because I know your weekends are pretty much always busy, right? Because that's the parties.
Yeah. So, and I guess I really never answered that question. I was just like, I just do it, right? But no, I feel like I try to t time block for certain things. Like for
Oh,
sure, I
okay.
have a 9 to 5 too.
Hmm.
So that's 8 to 4:30, and I work from home. Um, So I'm trying to get up earlier because he'll get up around either between 6 and like 7:30 in the
Oh,
morning. Sometimes right now he's been getting up a little bit later, so he sleeps a lot more. But if he gets up at 6, I try to stay awake. Trust me, it hasn't happened these last few days. But
yeah,
now that I'm gonna go back into my 9 to 5 routine, I'm gonna try and stay up if I can, so that I can get, either things done for Muñiz Financial Solutions or Events by Max, like any,
yeah,
quote requests that come in or anything like that. But I feel like uh, having a, what's it called? Framework, kind of like, time block,
yeah,
or like a to-do list does help. And I mean, yeah, I try to spend a lot of time with my family only because I feel like I don't want to ever feel bad or guilty in the future, like, dang, I should have, done this with my son or my wife.
yeah,
But, you do still have responsibilities as a business owner. So
yeah,
it's just, trying to balance the two. Sometimes you have to sleep a little bit less, to get things done
yeah.
while they sleep. You take
Yeah, that's
advantage.
smart.
But
That
yeah,
basically like set time for each thing. That's pretty smart. I'm gonna
yeah.
start doing that.
Hmm. But also, I mean, you probably already do this or already know this, but also you have to set time for yourself too, to like, debrief because this is something that one of my supervisors at the other company that I used to work for told me, you're not any good to us if you're not good yourself, like let's
Yeah,
say I would feel bad for calling in sick sometimes. But my
yeah,
supervisor
same.
once told me like, hey, you're not any good to me if you're feeling sick. So take time off and get better and then come back and hit it hard or whatever.
Yeah.
So that's something that kind of stayed with me. I always try to take time to myself, even if it's just to do nothing,
Yeah.
or like read. I'm not too much into reading now. I was a little bit, I guess, when I was younger, but I'm trying to get back into it because I feel like that kind of does, relieve some stress. You just focus on something else, something that you don't do on a everyday basis.
Yeah. I mean, you're making to call me like a workaholic, but to me, like this is me time. Like my podcast, I feel like
Hmm.
I felt better and like I've started talking like more confident. Those are
Yeah.
things that are working on myself.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, and I
Yeah.
mean, everybody has their own escape. So if this is your
Yeah.
escape, that's perfect, dude. Because I also have stage fright. And
Yeah.
you may
Me
think
too.
like, how do you have a YouTube channel, which
Yeah.
I'm not too active now, but how do you have a YouTube channel and you're like, you have stage fright? That's impossible. But no, yeah, like, um, when it came to like hosting meetings at work, I was always nervous. I didn't want to present. I didn't want to do nothing. But I feel like it does help, kind of build that confidence because
Yeah.
I still lack um, in self-confidence too. So
Yeah. Same.
that's good.
Well,
I'm proud of
I
you.
was. Yeah. Thanks. Yeah, I was planning like, I'm like, what can I do to improve myself? And I'm like, well, why not, why not this? But I know we're talking business a lot. Before I switch topics, do you have any regrets of starting your own businesses?
Um, I would say I don't, because just like with anything else, like you don't know whether or not it's going to work out until you do it. So, if anything were to go south, at least I tried.
Yeah,
And I'll have that, I guess, fulfillment within me, like, oh, I tried, and that's fine. There's a lot of successful business owners that tried many things before they were successful. So, who's to say that I won't be the next or whatever? I don't want to sound cocky or anything like that, but
yeah,
it's real stuff. Like, if you fail with your first business, that's fine. Go on to your next, adventure. Life is
yeah,
full of adventures. So I would say for anybody else that's listening right now or that's going to listen later, if you've been thinking about starting your business, I would say do it. I support you because there's strangers out there that are, waiting to purchase from you, honestly, or like in this case, listen to your podcast.
yeah.
So, yeah, do it.
You heard that, guys? Do it.
Just do it. Dijo Nike.
All right. So speaking of your YouTube, I thought this was so cool that you recorded this because I'm like, yeah, I'm definitely gonna play that. But I want to know,
Oh
like,
God, here we go.
I, obviously, I mean, I don't, I have an idea because my wife went through pregnancy, but instead of what Jasmine was going through, I want to know what were you thinking in this situation? Because I know how I felt, but I want to know what you were feeling.
I honestly, thankful with God. It was sometimes I can't tolerate, como dicen, los hombres nunca pueden estar malos de una cold or something
Yeah,
porque se están muriendo.
yeah,
And this is a situation where she could literally die
like
if
die.
things go
Yeah,
south. Yeah. So I was super thankful with God. I was emotional, because that day when we were going into labor, she got induced. So that day when we
okay,
were going into labor, I had a moment with her. I was like, hey, because we still didn't know the gender, right? I was like, hey, I've been thinking about it and I hadn't told you, but if it's a boy, can we name him after my late grandfather, at least his middle name, right? And then she was like, yes, like she didn't hesitate,
yeah,
because she knows how much my grandpa meant to me. So it was just like those 2 days were just full of emotions. I felt so blessed. And I felt so bad because I'm like, what did I do to deserve this? Like God's giving me a family. I have a wife. Life was just perfect after that. And I don't know, like at a moment I'm like, I don't even know how I feel, but I know that
yeah,
I felt blessed because I was scared too. Um,
yeah,
I was scared because I'm like, okay, now I gotta be an adult for sure. I have a
Yeah.
whole baby that's, about to be born and stuff like that.
Like, there goes my trip to Cancun.
Yeah, it's funny because we haven't traveled since what, 2022, October of 2022. But I mean, I wouldn't trade, my son or
Yeah,
my wife for any trip in the world. But yeah,
yeah,
super blessed. Thankful that everything went well, and that we have our son.
yeah. I actually watched the video where you were asking your wife like if you could name your child your middle name as
Yeah,
your grandpa. I think Bonifacio, right?
yeah, Bonifacio. Yeah,
Yeah, I was like, man, that's like the fact that y'all waited too. I was like, man, that's crazy.
yeah.
But
And everybody talks about it now. They're like, "How did you guys wait? Are y'all gonna wait for, this next baby?" And we're like, "No, we're not gonna wait for this next baby." I'm like, I don't even know why or how we waited for the first baby because I
yeah,
told her as a joke, like, "Hey, do you want to wait? Are you down to
oh,
wait, until the baby's born?" And she was like, "Yeah." So we went along with it, and then I thought we were gonna, be like, you know what, forget it, let's just find out the gender. But I think we were at our 36-week checkup, um, and they asked us if we wanted to know, and I was like, no, it's too late now. We waited so long, we'll just wait
yeah.
another month um, to see what our baby is. But
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. When I was watching this, I recognized that stance. I'm like, I
yeah,
literally stood the same. Like, you feel so useless right at that moment.
yeah,
You're like, you're just
yeah.
here like for what? They're doing all
And
the
I
work.
remember. Yeah, yeah. I remember too, I asked because the doctor, how they put the tray next to the doctor or whatever with all the utensils. And
Yeah,
I asked for the lid de algo because I was like, can I use it so I can fan her? So I
yeah,
started fanning her. I just wanted to help as much as I could. And she's like, can you stop fanning me? I'm not even hot or something like that. And I'm like, oh crap, like I thought I was helping. But yeah,
yeah.
you nailed it. You feel useless because it's like she's doing all the work and I'm sure there's nothing that, you can do to help her with the pain.
Yeah,
Um, it's
and
just a crazy experience.
I literally felt the same way as you because with my firstborn, when he came out, he didn't cry right away. And
Okay.
like I was like, shoot, like I hope it's nothing bad because it
Mm-hmm.
took like it was the longest 3 seconds of my life because it was just
Mm-hmm.
literally 3 seconds. It was 3 seconds, and then like he cried, right? But I was like, man, if he doesn't cry, like something is wrong,
Mm-hmm.
because sometimes they say that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But yeah, like I saw you standing there, I'm like, I literally felt the exact same way. Like I did
Yeah,
it,
that's crazy.
but yeah, I got the picture of him as well.
Yeah. Little Max. Now he's so big, dude. I think he's
I
sitting
know.
at like 22 pounds now.
I saw that
Yeah.
like he's growing so fast.
Months, yeah. Just
Damn,
this past Saturday.
he has your
Yeah,
eyebrows.
Max. Yeah, dude, everybody says that. They're like, de los ojos para arriba it's you, and then I think de la nose para abajo es mi wife.
Okay, so on that topic, first of all, I want to say obviously congrats on being a father, and also congrats on the new baby that's coming your way. But one of my questions about fatherhood, I know you told me a little bit how that feeling was when he came out. I mean, who he was born. I mean,
Yeah.
but how has fatherhood changed your life? Are there any challenges or surprises that you've encountered?
So I mean, it's really completely changed my life. But I would say, for sure, I mentioned the patience part that I'm like finding out that I really have no patience, which isn't a bad thing, of course, because it's not like, I mistreat my child or anything like that. I just feel like,
Yeah,
I'm in situations where I don't know what he wants or I can't, control him, obviously.
yeah,
Um, and I find myself like getting in a different mood, not necessarily mad or upset. It's just like I have anxiety too. So like my anxiety is just like up there. Like I'm
yeah,
trying to help him, but I know that I can't, but I also can't control my anxiety. So it's just like, a never-ending cycle there.
yeah,
But also, I feel like I've realized that I'm very selfish because I love my sleep, and obviously once you have a baby, it's like you say bye-bye to that. And it's not to say that I'm always up with him or anything like that. Like my wife does a lot too, and she's done a lot more than I have, throughout the nights.
Yeah,
I don't know if this is just a guy thing or whatever, or if it's just me, but it cuesta, to wake up throughout the
yeah,
night and feed the baby.
yeah,
Um,
definitely.
and I've realized this more, in this bonding time that I've had with him for my parental leave, that that it's manageable. Like sí se puede, but the egoísta in me just wants to have me time, like sleep, my full 7 hours or whatever the case is, and then wake up and
Yeah,
go back into the routine the next day. But I mean, it's just made me realize that I'm no longer living life for myself. I do have a family, have a baby who's depending on me, and I feel like seeing him grow and learn new things, and every time he smiles, like it just, it comforts me in a way. Like it makes me feel like everything is okay, even though it may not be.
yeah, I get you.
It's
It's
very
like,
rewarding.
yeah, everything is like worth it. You're like, that's
Yeah,
why I went through all that.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but definitely get what you mean. Not to be like a bearer of bad news, but when the second baby comes, you're gonna be like one of y'all is gonna be with one, and the other one's gonna be with the
With
other.
the other, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, so it's like we were both gonna have to be up at nights and stuff
yeah,
like that. Yeah.
yeah. Right now, what we
Yeah.
do is we'll split. So like after I'm done recording, like I'm gonna go with the newborn, and
Hmm.
from now until like 3 a.m. I'll be with him and just take care of him, and then she'll wake up because I gotta work at 8. So like
Okay.
that's when I sleep. Like it's
Hmm.
just you gotta take turns, communicate with your wife, make
Yeah.
sure that both of y'all are rested. Because I know you're saying like it's egoísta, but it's not really. Because I mean, you need to rest. You gotta put in that time at your job, your work, your businesses.
Hmm.
Like you have to be there. It's like you're trying to split 100% of you, and
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
it, the you have
It doesn't
to
work like
work.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah. And you bring up a good point, communication, because I feel like, that does help out. Especially, I mean, it helps out just the two of you guys. But once you start a family, it helps out a lot more because it's like you guys are on the same page. You're not mad at one another for not, doing one thing or the other. If you're like, hey, I'll do this, but you'll have to, do that. It's like, okay, we both agree. Versus I'm doing everything and I expect you to do something and you estoy enojado porque you don't do it.
yeah,
So the communication part definitely has to be there, with or without
Mhm.
kids.
Yeah. And with kids, yeah, you don't have a choice. You have
Yeah, yeah,
to.
for real.
So he's gonna be 8 months. So how were your reactions whenever he's hitting those milestones? Like, is he like what's it called? What are the 8 months? He's
Um,
not. He's stand like he ya se endereza y todo, ¿no?
yeah. So he's on the heavier side, so no se like se sienta, pero like he'll
Yeah,
tip over. He definitely he's in his walker, so he'll like, roll around, I guess.
yeah.
Um, he's into grabbing stuff, like he'll knock down our trash cans here in the kitchen. And we have a little water dispenser, so the little bottom tray, he always pulls it off. He's tried to open the cabinet doors, pero since he's in the walker, it kind of blocks,
Yeah,
from the actual door opening. So he's doing that. He knows where our office is in the house now. So right now that my wife is the only one working, he'll like roll around over there and start like making noises so that she can open the
yeah,
door. So I feel like we're gonna have trouble with that once I go back in because he's gonna know that we're both in there. Um,
yeah,
but I remember when he first rolled over, um, we had gone into his, I want to say, 6 month checkup, and they were like, "Does he roll over already?" And he had only rolled over maybe like once, and we were like, "Well, just once, not really." And then the pediatrician was like, "Okay, well, you guys need to do more tummy time, and kind of just let him." I guess, explore his body, because he did. take some time to, I guess, realize that he had hands. Um,
Yeah.
Porque como que no agarraba la teta, in the beginning and stuff.
Uh-huh.
And now he does. He holds his bottle or whatever, and even just play with his hands. We weren't expecting him to grab his bottle at, 1 or 2 months, obviously,
Yeah.
but just like, play with his hands and things like that. So he did that a little bit later. And every, child is going to be different. Every baby's different. But yeah, he does a lot. I feel like he's very smart. He knows his name. Like he'll turn if we say Max.
Damn.
Sometimes he'll ignore you like on purpose. We'll be like, "Hey Max, look," or whatever, and he'll just, be in his own little world. But sometimes if we catch him off guard and be like, "Hey Max," he'll turn around. But yeah, it's crazy to see somebody, like just get to know the world,
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
he loves being
I
outside.
oh, outside.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my son too. He likes being outside, but I'm like, where did you get that from? Like, I'm a homeboy. Like, I don't go outside at all.
Yeah.
Like, that's not for me. But
Yeah.
like, I already see him. Like, he's gonna want to be doing camping and all that. I'm like, yeah, I've never even
Yeah.
been camping before.
Well, hopefully he finds some good friends that he can do it with.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, yeah,
Oh,
I remember I used to be outside a lot, especially like after school, with my grandpa, since my grandma would take care of us and we would
yeah.
just be outside. He used to love doing like um carpinteria, and like he loved being outside, messing with his garden, rose bushes and whatnot. So we were always out there. So
There's some
maybe
like what's it
Max
called?
gets that from me.
Yeah, right. Like, there's some therapeutic like you get some therapy from doing stuff like that versus
Hmm.
sitting inside and doing nothing, watching TV.
Watching TV, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
No, my I lost my grandpa too, but my brother was closer to him than I was.
Hmm.
They were like best friends, and I'm like I was that guy he didn't really want to hang out with it because I was
Oh,
yeah. But I mean, it's all right. Like I know
yeah,
it's a hard time for my brother, but I
yeah,
mean, grandparents are like the legacy they leave behind and the stories that they bring. They're what you're gonna pass down to your kids. Like all that is
yeah,
important. Important.
yeah, it is. Yeah.
Like whoever's listening, like if you have grandparents who are alive, like spend time with them. Don't
I
waste
was just
that
about to
time.
say, yeah. And I
Oh,
always tell my wife, because she still has both sets of grandparents with her,
yeah,
and I only have my grandpa on my mom's side, and he's, pretty ill right now. But and my grandma from my dad's side. So, you know, one one of each, I guess, from each side of
yeah,
the family, grandma and grandpa. But yeah, I always tell her, I'm like, hey, spend as much time as you can, or even just call them, listen to their voice, and ask them how they're
yeah,
doing. Because who knows if, their kids are calling them, and stuff like that. So yeah, you bring up a good point. Anybody out there that's listening or that will listen to this later, spend time with your loved ones. And I know we're talking about grandparents right now, but even your parents, because,
yeah.
we, life is not guaranteed. We may not wake up tomorrow. That's just how life works.
That's one of the reasons I'm like doing this because ever since he passed away, I've been like I literally talk about this a lot, but I feel like there's you know those sand things that you turn around and like empieza a caer la sand. Like
Oh,
I just
yes,
imagine that in my head,
the
like
sandbox,
it's I'm just running out of time. Like if
running
you
out
don't
of
do
sand.
something,
Yeah,
and like if you don't do
yeah,
something today, like you never know. What if tomorrow you're gone?
you're gone, yeah, and you don't
It's
get to do it.
crazy.
Yeah, and this is good stuff because that's also what I wanted to do whenever I started my YouTube channel. I'm like, I want to, just record. I've always been a, I guess, fanatic of a camera. You
Yeah,
can probably remember. But when I was a kid, I would always carry a camcorder around, and I would be the what you call now La Tia that goes live on Facebook, at every event because I had my camera at every event. Um, pero I wanted to record things so that one day in the future, whenever I'm gone, my family can see
yeah,
what we used to do, and just remember who I was.
yeah. I mean
But
that's a
yeah,
that's a good thing. like especially the videos that you've already posted. If anybody wants to watch them, their channel is Chewy and Jazz, that like with a Z,
Yeah,
JASC.
yeah.
But
Showing
uh,
Jazz on
definitely,
Facebook, on
your
YouTube.
even Max, whenever he grows up, YouTube's still a thing. Like it's still a thing. Like he'll be able to watch those videos and be like, "Damn,
Yeah,
all this is here."
my parents were crazy.
I know I talked to you about this before. Whenever I was working on my family channel stuff, but I mean, I was posting a lot on TikTok. I literally posted a bunch of stuff, and I started getting followers too. But the reason I stopped is because I started thinking about, like, those people that just watch it to see the kids, like pedophiles and people
Oh
like that.
yeah,
And
yeah,
I'm like, man, like they like people like that ruin everything. Because
yeah,
I took down a bunch of videos because it was just Liam in his diaper, and I'm like there's some sicko in the world like watching this for the wrong reason. So I'm
yeah,
like,
yeah.
yeah,
That's scary. That's one of the things that, because I always hear like, oh no, I don't sh people saying I don't show my kids because of that reason. And I'm
yeah,
pretty open with Max in a sense,
mhm,
but also I haven't been too active on social media with him or even just myself and my wife.
yeah,
But it's a very hard, I guess, for loved ones to, fit on my head. And it's just like time, no tenemos tiempo. And really, we do. We just don't make the time for it
yeah,
sometimes because we all have the same 24 hours in the day. And, it's just, I got to do better with my time management for sure
yeah.
and get back on.
Okay, so I can't have you as a guest and not ask you. Like I feel like that's why I said we started this that I feel like I'm interviewing like I get nervous because you're like a celebrity like person.
Don't
And
say that, bro.
one of the reasons is because of your like your boda.
Uh-huh.
Like I saw all of that and I was just like, damn, like how did you make that happen? Like that's crazy.
It
Like
is
I,
crazy.
it was
Now
like
that I
a
look
whole
back.
it was like a whole concert. Like it was just crazy. Like I'm like I have to ask him like how did he make oh shit. I'm like how did he make that all of this happen? Like it's just
Yeah.
crazy.
So, I mean, we did have help from our family
Oh shit.
members and things like that.
Yeah.
But it was just, I honestly just wanted to make our religious wedding in Mexico, but we did have some family members that couldn't travel down there. So
Yeah.
we decided to do a quote unquote small, civil wedding here, and it just went out of budget. So we spent, money on that one, but we already had plans on making the religious wedding down there.
Yeah.
So we kind of just went with it. And, I had some savings that I spent on the wedding, and my wife, I think she had just started working a year prior. So, she contributed whatever she could. And, we did have, like I said, help from family members. And that's really, I guess it's a really great feeling to know that, people, will take your money, Like if they gave
Yeah.
it to us, we're like, okay, well, thank you. You didn't have to, but thank you. And I mean, I had always wanted our wedding down there because of my grandpa and things like that. But obviously he wasn't there. Thankfully, my grandma, is still with us, and um, she was there. We had a good time. It's just, yeah.
Yeah, definitely gonna be a memory for the rest of you guys' life. Like,
Yeah. Now, if you
me,
asked me if I would do it again, I would say no. Because I mean, it's nice and everything, but it's like we could have used that money for something else,
yeah, that's what I was
Um,
gonna ask him. Like, if you could use it for something else, like traveling or something, something
yeah,
for you guys, because that was for everybody.
yeah,
If,
yeah,
was it
yeah.
all
But
family members or people, or you invited other people too?
yeah, it was a lot of people because it's like over
Oh,
there, like no necesitas invitación,
they just
to
show
pull up.
up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then just like a few years back, they started doing like what people call like flyers, like as an invitation. So they'll post it on social media and everybody from Mexico goes. Not
No,
literally, but
okay.
from around the ranchos and stuff. So Yeah, a lot of people went. Thankfully, everything came out good though, like no fights or anything like that,
Yeah,
to have stopped the party because it is a lot of money invested into the party for somebody, random to just go and ruin it. Um, I don't regret, making the wedding, but
yeah,
and I guess people are going to be like, no, you do regret making the wedding because you're saying if you would have the chance to use the money for something else, you would.
yeah,
But I say that I don't regret it because I was living in the moment. I was super tired, but I am thankful for the people that were there with us that helped us, make the event happen. And it was just like cherishing my wife, that day, and
yeah.
ever since.
Yeah, I mean, it's like the one day is for both of y'all, and like you deserve to be feel like these celebrities that like the superstars.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
yeah,
and it's crazy because I also like don't like to be center of attention. And I was just reminded of this on Friday whenever it was our little baby's baptism little dinner
yeah,
because like I had to be, with my wife and the baby versus just being a guest at a party. So it's
yeah.
like, yeah,
You're like,
pero
I'm the one who
pues,
brings the chairs.
yeah, I'm just the vendor. Yeah.
No, but that's crazy. I just wanted to ask you that because like the whole time I saw your videos and everything, I'm like, damn, that's crazy. Like we had like a small, it wasn't a small wedding, but we didn't waste like we didn't waste a lot of money on it.
Hmm.
But yeah, we also got our house at the same time, so we were like, yeah, we gotta,
It's hard. Yeah.
yeah,
So here's the thing. Back then, I was making more money than I am now.
yeah,
And it was, se me hacía fácil to kind of go big or whatever, however you want to call it. And now I'm like, okay, well, yeah, I could have used that money and, bought this house or bought a house back then instead of, just throwing that big ass wedding or whatever. Or sorry if I'm not able to cuss.
no, you're
But
good.
yeah, but I mean, you live life. Who knows if I'm gonna die tomorrow, or who knows if I would have made it to the wedding or not. So I'm glad that I did, and it happened. I'm still here
Yeah,
today, thank God. Um, and we have a little family now. So
yeah, no regrets.
no regrets. I'm gonna tat that across my chest.
No regrets.
No regrets. Yeah.
No, well, I really appreciate you. Like, you didn't hesitate when I asked you. I'm like, man, like that's the kind of people I like. I really like as my guest because
Yeah.
I'm like no hesitation. Like you're like, yeah, I'm down. So I'm like really grateful for that. And I really thank you for your time. I know you're a busy person. I know your wife's taking care of Max. I could hear him in the background.
Yeah.
But no, like, thank you for getting on. Really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me on here, brother. I'm here whenever you need anything. I definitely wish you nothing but success. Hopefully we can hang out soon so we can kind of, get to know the family.
Yeah,
And but yeah, thank you for your time as well, because I know you've taken time away from both of your babies and your wife. So I hope you guys, had a good time listening or whatever the case is. If you're going to listen later, I, still hope that you had a good time listening.
yeah,
And yeah, let us know if you need any of our services.
yeah. I'll share the your accounts in my post, but uh, I don't know if you guys can hear this, but just a little round of applause for
Thank you. Thank you.
Jesus here. All right. Whoever was, if anybody was watching, thanks for being the audience. I didn't see any messages on the chat, but yeah, it's the first time we do this, so hopefully we'll. Man, I don't mind getting you on here again. You're a really interesting person.
Thank you, bro. I'm just another you. Trust me. Not special at all.
All right, I'm gonna stop the recording, but thank you guys for listening.
Thank y'all.